Hey, I'm just sitting there over here waiting for somebody. I thought I would do a little recording of some things that I've been thinking about in the last couple of days that this is going to sound really weird, but there's a lot of spiritual insight in Star Trek. I mean, I watched this maybe, a year ago. I watched them with Rick in the nursing home. We would just watch one episode after the other. We started with the very first one, and we went through all of them, and now I just kind of circled back and started, I thought one of them that really stood out to me after I went to the Divine Love tour in North Carolina, met with Jesus and Mary, when he was talking about pets. I thought, how can I wrap my head around what he's talking about when I kind of don't really understand it? And what came to mind was the trouble with tribbles. And I thought, well, that kind of explains that, if you have a tribble and it eats everything, it doesn't give you anything back. Oh, because of love. But there's no advantage in having it. Yeah, I could see how that could be relatable to a pet. A much grander scale with the pets though, but the tribble is like a poster child for feeding pets, maybe. So I started calling my dog a tribble because he is a tribble. I've just always seen him as something else. And then just here a couple of days ago, I thought, what else is in Star Trek that is kind of spiritually based? And since I've had the number 17 coming up a lot, I thought, well, I'll go look at season 1, episode 17. And what do you know? The title of that one is Galileo. And it's actually called the Galileo 7. Which now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesus said that there were 7 couples that reincarnated and came back to do whatever it is that they're doing. And that's 14 people in all, of course. But, as a soul union, there is 7 people that have been come back to reunite again. So I'm still thinking that I am one of these. And then I watched, the episode of the Galileo 7, and I can see Jesus's logical teaching in so many things that Spock says that I can't hardly believe that I never noticed it before. Well, everybody's always looking at William Shatner, who he's kissing, who he's hitting. All of his overacting, and Spock is just there in the background and just kind of, it doesn't get riled up about anything because he's not ruled by his emotions. And I have looked at a couple other Star Trek episodes, and they all have spiritual messages in them. In a piece of the action, they actually say that there's a book that had been left on this planet by a starship that crashed there 100 years ago, and it contaminated the population because it didn't belong there. It didn't belong to their culture, their society. And then when they're there looking at it, the book was called The Gangsters of the 1920s. Spock is saying, this is where the contamination came from, was right here. This is the contamination. And he says, oh, gosh, for that book. And Dr. McCoy, standing right behind him, says, oh, just like and he says, like the Bible. And McCoy says, yes, like the Bible. Whether that's saying the Bible was a contamination of Earth or whether the Bible was contaminated. You can decide for yourself what they meant. But there is a lot of spiritual teaching in Star Trek. And I can see why it only went on for 3 years and it wasn't picked up again, because it's really heady. It is really heady. You got to use your head when you're watching it, listening to it. And I mean, it's another like detective series, inspecting things. Like, yeah, if you're gonna believe, I mean, if you want to know how things work, I didn't realize it, but Star Trek, the series, is actually the original series. Now, I don't know about the other ones. I only know like a couple of them from the original series. And so far, all of the ones that I've watched, like 5 or 6 of them, and I was like, they all have spiritual pointers in them. So this is Jesus like you've never seen him. Yeah, the church painted him into being this namby-pamby love flower child. He is nothing like that. Nothing. He's not like that at all. He's got a lot more on the ball than the church painted him out to have. So, okay, that's what I got. Talk to you later. Bye.